Good afternoon, everybody. We are back for 2025 Q&A. Well, technically, you've been back already, Sam, but it hasn't been the dynamic duo of Az and Sam because I was ill last week.
Never again, please. Never leave me. Never leave me.
Never leave you with your husband and the new king of FPL video content, Mr. Tom Johnson.
Those two ganged up on me. It was terrible. They ganged up on me.
Why would they do that?
There was a lot of anti-Spurs narrative that I did not appreciate. There was a lot of Chelsea nonsense going on. There was a lot of Liverpool nonsense going on. There was a lot of them two just talking about, their green arrows and stuff. And I was actually having quite a good December as well. But I missed you a lot.
That's so sweet. I've missed you too. I've missed doing these. I haven't done, this is the first bit of content I've done since before Christmas.
Do you know, it's been really weird because obviously we watch Black Box as well. And so watching Black Box without you is weird because I love Mark, but if anyone's missing from Black Box, it's going to be Mark. So tuning into a Black Box without you is like, what's happening?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people got their wish. A lot of people wanted to see less of me and more of Mark.
I want more of you.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. I got some comments which were, people were saying that they missed the, whatever we've got, Mark and I. Husband,
chemistry.
Wife, brothers, son and father. I don't know what we've got, but anyway.
Are you the father and he's the son?
I don't know. There's some way around that we are. Sometimes I feel like his dad. Sometimes I feel like his child. It's a bit of a weird dynamic. How's everyone in the chat? Good to see so many of you here already. Az is here to stop the Chelsea hype nonsense, says producer.
Yes.
Yeah, what the hell has happened with Chelsea since I've been gone?
I don't know.
Flying, and now it's all gone Pete Tong.
Yeah, and Tom, when they were flying, was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. I mean, at least last time we did a Q&A, he'd captained Haaland. No, he'd captained Palmer against Ipswich when he should have captained Salah.
Yeah.
So that calmed him down a little bit. But so, of course, he was all Mardy bum. He was all like, woe is me. And then Lee was just being Lee.
Well, I saw something that said that he said that Jackson was going to score more points than Isak. Did he?
Tom says
I might, that might be a lie. I saw that and I thought, oh God, Tom, what have you been saying since I've been gone?
That sounds like the sort of thing he probably said either on Deadline Dilemmas or on here. Basically, Tom got a lot of airtime while you were out.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah.
And suddenly the Chelsea now, everyone's got 3 Chelsea players. I blame Tom. Single-handedly blame Tom.
To be fair, I had Jackson as well, and I was keeping Jackson over Isak. But yeah, I think just after Christmas, I realised that was a fruitless endeavour. And Jackson was quickly moved over to Isak. Although I've paid 0.7 more than a lot of people have paid.
Yeah.
Over 9 million for him. Oh,
well, that's going to be my problem with Chris Wood, right? I've got to sort that out.
Well, this is what we were talking about. I think this is carrying on exactly from where we last spoke. We were talking about Isak and Wood and saying how expensive they're getting and how we haven't got them yet.
Yeah, and I got Isak, so I got him a while back though, so that's helped because obviously he's done well, and I've not had to pay the massive price tag. But I've kept Evan Nilsson this time. Now he's got a blooming fractured foot, so he's got to go, and I can just afford, but it is it's all my budget. There's nothing left in the bank to get to Wood, so I can do it, but I'm watching the prices so carefully because I'm obviously hoping to get through the FA Cup before I do any transfers this week. Because even João Pedro, we've had that news today, whether it's just I've actually twisted my ankle, or whether it's just I've twisted my ankle because it's the FA Cup and I want to give him his rest, and then
poor baby.
I know, darling, give him a cuddle. and then I would ideally like to get through the weekend, but worst case scenario, I'm kind of thinking, well, could I just go could I go for a Raul Jimenez for 2 weeks and then
it's not the best time to bring Wood, is it? With the Liverpool game next. Yeah.
No, so I am pondering on whether actually I go for Raul Jimenez for 2 weeks because they're nice fixtures, although maybe less attractive now with West Ham's new manager. But certainly Leicester, and then move to Wood in 2 weeks' time. But then I just kind of feel like, well, in 2 weeks, how much more is Wood going to cost me? It's going to cost more and more and more, isn't it? So, and then somebody else has got to be sacrificed. But then I probably have lost the will to live with Trent in 2 weeks' time. So that was a bad decision on my part.
Not much in it between us, Sam. When I think last time I was probably about 30 or 40 points behind you. I think there's you're on 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's nice. I'm on 1, 2, 2, 8. So there's barely anything in it. So there's like what,
hardly
6
anything in the
points?
ranks.
6 points between us? Nothing.
Yeah, I had a really, really, really. Tom's texting me at the same time as I'm doing this now because I've been giving him some grief on this stream.
Yeah, he's in the chat as well.
I had a really, really good couple of weeks where my rank rises have been great, and then this week just tanked it again.
You basically reset to where you were before we started. I
know.
You went from 1 million to about 600,000, and now you're back at 900,000. So you've basically gone back to where you were.
I know, and it's so infuriating because it was like that was like 4 game weeks of like good graft where I was getting on the right players and everything was working and going smoothly. And now it's got to a point where I'm like, all right, well, I'm back where I was again, except this time I'm back where I was. And now I've suddenly got Trent in my team who was adamant I didn't want. And somehow I've ended up with him. So now I've got no money in the bank. And like, it's been like little decisions that haven't gone my way. Like I bought Ismail Assar a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I got him as well. He's been
and it's been really really frustrating and disappointing because at the same time, like I could have afforded Eze at that point, and I decided not to because I wanted to keep the money for Trent. That's just like the whole thing has just been like one bad decision after another. So I don't know. I feel like I've been quite unlucky last week as well. They could have returned more than they did, maybe. But even so, like Evan Nilsson, I was hoping to roll this week and like just get through it. But the Evan Nilsson fractured metatarsal, whatever he's fractured in his foot, means I've got to do something with him now. So the question is, do I go all out on Chris Wood? Maybe even having to do that. I'm watching the price rises on live FPL so carefully because I just can't afford for either of them to rise or drop. And then I've got to decide whether I want to have Chris Wood going into Liverpool or whether I just go for a bit of fun bants with João Jimenez for 2 weeks and then eventually do it by taking money out.
João Jimenez, wow. Combining.
João Jimenez.
Combining.
That's João Pedro and Raul Jimenez.
Be quite a good blend, I think. Pedro and Jimenez. Get the two together.
Yeah. I think that'd be nice. I could have like 3 for the price of 2, you know?
Yeah, I mean, our teams are pretty similar. We've both got Saar, both got Solanke. I think we're the only one still with Solanke.
I'm enjoying Solanke. 5
he's
and
all right.
7 now. He's doing all right.
He's all right. FPL Lucho says, what's the mood like in your house with Lee after that goal last night? The old Bergvall. Bit dodgy, isn't it?
Okay, should we talk about this? Let's talk about this. So my personal opinion was that he shouldn't have been on the pitch because it was definitely a yellow card. But apparently, if they wave play on, that now means it's not bad and therefore is not a foul and therefore they're not getting yellow card, which is weird to me. But since when's that been the rule? But fine, I'll take it. Having said all of this, I did think we were the better team, and I did think if anyone was going to win the game, it deserved to be us. Lee's fine. I wasn't at home. Obviously, I went.
Okay, that's why. That's why. It's all fine. Yeah.
I went to the Spurs stadium last night with my mum, to watch the game. Which, to be honest, about 10 minutes in, when Bentancur went down, I was like, oh, I had like. It was awful, like standing there for 10 minutes, not knowing what was going on because it was at the other end of the pitch was terrible. So yeah, it was fine. I didn't see him last night. He took himself to bed before I got home. And then I got home and I was so like, you know, when you get in from a football match and like, I did feel like last night was quite, it was quite emotional because of the Bentancur thing. And then the winning goal right at the end, it was all a lot.
And a clean sheet somehow. First clean sheet in about 10 years.
As a goalkeeper that catches the ball and kicks it long down the pitch.
He was good, wasn't he?
He was really good. I really enjoyed him. Really enjoying Jed Spence at the moment as well. Really enjoying that. So yeah, there was a lot of positives. So I came home and I was like properly like hyped. And so I couldn't go straight to bed. So I stayed up and had a cup of tea to calm myself down. Lee was obviously well asleep by the time I got upstairs. So I did give him a little kiss and said, I love you. And he was fast asleep, oblivious to me.
Eyes forcibly shut, just like...
He was like, even if I'm awake, I'm not talking to her at the moment. No, he wasn't. He was fast asleep. But I did see him this morning and he did come and give me a kiss goodbye. And everything is fine. Everything is fine. Because we were I think, had... like Bergvall's goal, like if that had been to take us 2-0 up or something, I think he would have been more annoyed about it. But like, let's be frank, a 1-goal lead going up to Anfield is probably not going to be enough, is it? So yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I was impressed though. I didn't give you a chance, especially with like Maddison out and other players obviously.
Perhaps Saar,
defensive injuries. Yeah, no, it was it was a good performance. We have a super chat. Thank you to Malachi Fox. Hi, Az and Sam.
Hello.
Hope you're both well. Hello, Malachi. Great to have Az back. Oh, thank you. Don't know how he's still above Yelena. Yes, still above Yelena. She's doing all right, I think.
Chris Wood.
Yeah, she's got Chris Wood. She's climbing up. She still hasn't had that one, like, good game week, that's going to propel her from 2 million to 1 million or whatever. So at the moment, I'm kind of matching game week by game week. And because obviously I had a big head start because she didn't have Haaland at the start, it's kind of been all right. But yeah, I mean, I was like similar to you. I was about 800k before this week, and then I was doing all right until that Forest game.
Me too.
Yeah, I had like 61 points, I think it was, and then I just needed Wolves to score.
Yeah.
That's all right. Wood got a goal, that's fine, don't mind that. But Wolves had so many chances to score a goal in that game. Oh.
And I'd benched Van der Berg this week as well. So I'd benched that 10-pointer and played bloody Trent. And it's like, if I just hadn't made that transfer, then I'd have had Van der Berg. Anyway, it's just one of those woe is me tales, isn't it? So it is what it is.
Well, I know. I mean, I benched Ahmad. So I saw him. I saw him score, and I thought, that's typical. I played Lewis Hall because I thought Spurs have got no players.
I did too. I played Lewis Hall.
There's always method to the madness, but it never works out. I should have played Ahmad. I should have just played the attacker. But anyway, a few people asking about Kuna. Is he banned next week? No, he's back, isn't he?
He's back next week.
Didn't he get an injury in the last game? Is he fit?
He was icing his knee at the game against Spurs, so we don't know if he's fit, but he's banned because he's also banned. So he's banned from the FA Cup. Yeah. So we won't really hear a lot about him before the midweek. I think that's my fear, is that obviously they play the FA Cup, and then he'll be available again. But it's just, is he even fit to be available? Because I doubt if anyone's going to ask about him going into the FA Cup because he's suspended. Yeah. So
if he's fit, he's available for the next FPL game week, essentially.
Yes.
But we're not sure if he is. Someone asking about Ahmad. Foromai says Enzo to Ahmad or bring in Bruno Fernandes. Michael Scott, Sarr or Rodgers to Ahmad. A few asking about Ahmad. What are your takes on Ahmad and United? Tempted?
I mean, up until a couple of weeks ago, I had 2 United, and then Bruno got suspended and I sold him, and then I got rid of Dallo for Trent at the weekend. Great decision. But to be honest, Dallo I just needed rid of. I just shouldn't have spent so much money on Trent. I should have, if I'd have known that Konate was that close to starting, I think I'd have gone for Konate. I think Slot's comments about him just put me up, just made me think, well, maybe he's not quite ready yet. With United, it's difficult because they've been so poor. Sorry to any United fans listening, but they've been so poor for the last few weeks. And then this game against Liverpool, they were good. And so what I struggle with, and I think Amorim and Bruno Fernandes, both of them summed it up in their post-matches, that when they were talking about how, where's that performance come from? Why have we not been playing like that for the last few weeks? And that's frustrating from an FPL perspective, right? Because they've got the talent, they've got the players, that they can put in that kind of performance, but then they haven't been week in, week out. And so I struggle with it because it's Southampton this week. So you would want to be invested in Manchester United. And I think Ahmad is quite easy, right? Because he's cheap. Yep. If you've got Enzo Fernandez, I think that's a bit of a no-brainer move across to him. And Enzo will probably be better with Lavia back, but I think that would be quite a straightforward move. I don't think I would want to sell Rodgers necessarily, though. I know the fixtures are turning for the worse for Villa, but I still think that Rodgers has got.
Rodgers is an easy hold for me. Surely.
I think so too.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, and the problem I've got with this question, the one you've got on screen, is that Ismail Assar is a difficult sell, I think, over the next couple of games because they're really nice fixtures. So to sell him when the underlying numbers have been there would be a brave decision. I
wouldn't do. I mean, the thing is, you look at the performances United have had recently. 2 big performances. They basically had 2 good games under Amorim, right? They've had the City game, which wasn't even a good game, I wouldn't say. They won a poor game, just about in kind of the death, and then obviously a really good performance against Liverpool and a draw. But the trouble is, Amorim's trying to set them up to dominate teams. They're not a counter-attacking side. He doesn't want them to be a counter-attacking side like they have been in these 2 games because they needed to be. He wants them to play on the front foot, and they're not good enough to do that. No. They haven't got the players, they haven't got the squad, they haven't got the technical ability outside of Ahmad and Fernandes to really do what he wants them to do, I don't think. So I'm not totally convinced. I look at Brighton. I look at that game, United versus Brighton, and I might have egg on my face, but I fancy us in that game to win that game.
It's this week. It's this midweek game against Southampton.
This is it. You're buying him for 1 week. Would I want to lose Sarr or Rodgers for 1 week on Ahmad when I think Sarr and Rodgers probably are both better options longer term? I don't think I'd do it.
See, this is why I'm so glad you're back. I agree. This is sanity talking.
Right?
We'd have had some nonsense going on if the other two were here, because Leo owns Enzo, Tom obviously is Chelsea. I think we'd have had more comments about I think people Enzo I'd sell. I think for Ahmad.
Yeah,
but
Enzo, I think given Chelsea's form and the fixtures and everything, I think Enzo's a bit different. Sarr or Rodgers, I'd keep. Sarr has been unlucky, I think, not to get points.
I think so. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I feel like I've been unlucky.
Ahmad's fine, but I don't think that's a priority. That wouldn't be a priority for me, losing either of those two for him. I just don't. I think outside of Southampton, I just don't trust Manu enough to think he's like a great asset. So yeah, I'll keep him. Fernandes though, I mean, you keep him if you've got him. Would I be buying Fernandes again? I think it's
like I'd prioritise buying a Gordon or over buying Bruno Fernandes.
Gordon and Mbumo, then maybe Fernandes. Gordon and Mbumo surely I think are better. Better options.
Yeah.
As is always the voice of reason, says Sukan. Bloody hell, what has been going on since I've been doing when I'm called the voice of reason, something's...
You watched the streams back as they were chaos.
Oh, there's Derek Knowles with the Barco move. Yeah, he didn't tell us to get... didn't he tell us to get Barco? He's back. He's back from his loan spell now. He's ready to have a big end to the season.
Oh, God. Are you going to start the Barco train again?
Let's go. Choo-choo. One little injury to Stupinan. Barco's going to be right back in people's thinkings.
Is he not going to just go back out on loan again?
Well, I mean, he could do, couldn't he?
His loan didn't go very well.
Are they allowed? Can they do that? You can play for free clubs, can't you? Free clubs?
They can go back out on loan.
They can go back out on loan. I think if he played for Brighton though, it doesn't? I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. He'll probably go back on loan. Yeah, probably right. It'd be interesting to know where he goes. Where he going to be abroad.
I mean, look at Reguilon. He's basically spent his life on loan.
That's true. That is true. Wasn't there a situation though where he couldn't play or something? I don't know. All I know is on Football Manager, I once had a player who couldn't play for the club that I loaned him to because he'd already been at too many clubs. I think it's 3. I think you can't play for more than three clubs.
Right.
Spaghetti, do we bin Jackson or hold?
Do we bin Jackson as? That is the big question, isn't it? Bournemouth and Wolves. Can you bin Jackson ahead of Bournemouth and Wolves?
Yeah, you can do what you want.
And then Man City, West Ham.
He's been really poor. I mean, one goal in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in 6 games.
I know. But...
Oh, Dyche has gone.
What?
Sean Dyche left Everton.
When?
Just now.
Really? I'm Googling it.
Yeah. No, he's gone.
Wow. Tom, if you're still here, can you go and drop that in the core team chat, please? Because and tag El Fozzie, please. Blimey. Jose Mourinho emerges as the shock favourite for the Everton job.
Is that confirmed? He is definitely gone.
Well, there's a lot of chatter about it, and
yeah, there is. Ben Jacobs has messaged. Yeah. No, he's gone. Yeah, he's gone.
And
big. Yeah, there is.
How is Mourinho the favourite?
Mourinho, that's like he's just getting Dyche back, isn't it? But on
it's worse.
Triple the money.
It's worse. Mourinho will kill the club like he did at Spurs. You take years to recover. I'm not sure I've ever fully recovered from the Mourinho.
I don't. I don't know why Mourinho keeps getting jobs. He's just not. He's not the manager he was. And what's he going to do there? Like, what is any manager going to do with Everton? Like, they've got such a crap team. It's amazing Dyche has even kept them, away from the relegation.
Wait a minute. Aren't Everton playing tonight?
Yeah.
Why have they sacked him? They've got it's like 3.5 hours till the game. He can't have been sacked.
It's Everton. They're always doing this kind of thing, aren't they?
No, they can't have. This can't be real. Have we seen an official source? There's no way a club sacks a manager 3.5 hours before the game.
I've seen it all.
Isn't Ashley Young about to play his son tonight?
Yeah, he's probably manager.
Oh, stop it. This can't be a thing.
Yeah, Fabrizio Romano's tweeted it. Everton have sacked the manager. Yeah, he's definitely gone.
There's a game on.
Yeah, he's gone. That's harsh, isn't it?
What the hell?
Reckon they go down?
So this is another one, like Leicester, where I don't understand it, because actually the manager that you had in play is probably the one that's most likely to keep you up. Whereas, like, I'm not sure Van Nistelrooy. Oh my God. God, this stream's got it all.
I just don't know what unless the idea is bring in Mourinho and give him like 150 million to spend.
Has Everton haven't got 150 million? They're building a stadium.
Well, they've got new owners now, haven't they?
Oh my God. Yeah, but as really?
I think that's a ridiculous decision. Sacking Dyche. I think he was doing, as James C says, I think he was doing the best he could do with such a crap squad. Let's be honest. There's no real centre forward there. Calvert-Lewin's completely off it. I got Broja, Beto, and Dyche. What? There's no midfield. Their best player is Dwight McNeil. No disrespect to Dwight McNeil, but when he's your best player, I don't know. Terrible.
The other thing is that if Sean Dyche has got it in him to save that club from relegation, we've seen that before. Just give him the money to spend in January, and then if it doesn't work out, you're not going to get relegated. Like, Everton aren't that bad. If they get money to spend in January, they're not going to be relegated. So just give Dyche the money, let him buy some decent attacking assets, keep them in the league, and then if you want to replace him in the summer, then so be it. But this makes no sense to me.
I wasn't really looking at, like, obviously I know Everton have been poor and aren't a great team, but I still think like Wolves, Ipswich, Leicester, Southampton, I'd have all of those like going down over Everton. I think Everton are going to be dragged right into it now. I think this is a crazy decision, personally. James said they would have set it with Dyche. I think so. I think you give him till the end of the season, stay up, and then build next year if you want to go a different direction. Crazy. Michael Scott says, did Mourinho not fall out the same owners at Roma? Yeah, a few people have said that. Apparently, it's the same group that had Roma and sacked him. So they, I mean, again, stranger things about Abramovich brought him back after getting rid of him. But I mean, he was kind of at the height of his powers then.
I don't understand this decision at all. I'm actually baffled.
Yeah, Brian says he hopes they go down. FPL Forest says they go down now. Yeah, targeting Everton next game.
Mourinho's got a job as well, no?
Yeah, he's at Fenerbahce, isn't he?
Yeah.
Or Galatasaray, one of the Turkish teams.
All right.
Anyway, let's come back to Chelsea. Phenol says he's rubbish.
Who is? Jackson. I was like, who's rubbish? What's happening? I don't know. They've still been having opportunities, hasn't he? I think I would give Nico Jackson 2 more games. Am I mad? Am I mad?
Are you?
I don't have
in the context of Jackson or generally?
All right, well, let's go for both. In general life, am I mad? I think the answer to that is
yes.
No. Oh, it's yes. Okay, it's yes. In the context of holding Nico Jackson for the 2 games that they have coming up against Bournemouth and Wolves, I think you'd hold for those 2.
I mean, you need Isak. So if there are if there's still any crazy people out there who don't have Isak and your route to get him is Jackson, sell. To be honest, if I'm looking around at the other strikers, there's no one that massively screams to me that you need to own. I've got Solanke and Visser. I'm pretty happy with those 2.
Would you sell either of those 2 for Nico Jackson right now?
No.
Would you sell Nico Jackson to buy either of those 2 right now?
No, I don't think so. That's what I mean. I don't think there's a huge amount in it between them. Wood is your next best, but he's got Liverpool, so I think you can hold on that for a bit. João Pedro potentially, but he's got his ankle.
He's twisted his ankle. Come on, give the man a break.
Yeah, I think if you've held Jackson for this long, give him a couple more weeks and see how he does there. Like you say, Wolves in a few weeks. Give him that game and see what happens. James C. Kuna to Chelsea would be great for FPL. There are rumours around Kuna to I guess he's going to get linked with everyone, isn't he, Kuna? Because
he might go to Everton now. They need a forward.
God,
Out of the frying pan into the
I doubt
fire.
that's the dream move that he's been planning all this.
Cunha's just signed a new contract, or has been like
Has
that's happening. He's been offered. I'm sure I read that yesterday. Like they've offered him a new contract.
Yeah, offered is different to sign. I bet they're offering him the world, but surely he's going to go to a top team.
He'll sign it though.
You think?
Yeah. Because I think Cunha. If you're Cunha, do you want like? I guess it depends on who. I guess it depends on who comes in. I'd probably, if I'm Cunha, I sign that contract and I move in the summer.
I mean, it's the nice thing to do, isn't it? Because you're still going to get offers. You're going to get Wolves a bit of money. You're going to get a decent, pay rise from now until the end of the season. But you do risk, getting stuck at Wolves.
Yeah, but he won't get stuck at Wolves. He won't.
He could play for any team.
He's so good that somebody comes in
team.
for him. I agree.
I mean, Spurs don't need him. Well, I mean, arguably they do because he could play behind Solanke, couldn't he? But I think with Maddison and other, 10s, he'd be all right. But what's going on with my camera?
I don't know. You keep it's like you're at a disco. You're in and out.
I am. I think it's keep kicking this.
I mean, it wouldn't be an Alice and Sam stream if we didn't have a technical issue at some point.
Just give the people what they want. It'll be all right now.
I know, we give the people what they want all the time. They missed you while you were gone, so
What's the disco rays?
I think if you've got Nico Jackson, I would hold for 2 weeks. If he does nothing in these 2 weeks, then I would sell him. That probably also coincides with, let's just have a look. If you sell him in 2 weeks' time, you could then go to, oh my God, there's some lovely fixtures if you wait 2 weeks for some other team.
Well, who everyone's looking at the moment? Your old mate.
My mate?
Liam Delap.
Oh, well, Liam. I love Liam Delap. Who's he got next?
He's back on the menu.
You lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got you lot, then Man City, then Liverpool. That's not great.
I mean, he's got us at home. He's got Southampton at home in 24. And he's got Spurs at home in 26. The other games are pretty rough, but those...
What are you bracketing the Spurs game as easy?
Honestly, Liam Delap's going to terrorise your... If you've still got Gray and Dragosin in that game...
Excuse me, did you see us last night? We were epic.
You did keep the current league leaders at bay.
We kept the Egyptian king quiet. Jed Spence had Mo Salah in his back pocket. I think he might still be in his back pocket. No, I am jesting now.
Yeah, but you haven't played Liam Delap yet.
That's true.
Well, you have.
We have.
You lost.
Yeah, well, let's not remember that, shall we? Because I was there for that. It was horrendous. We need a revenge. But also, we will have our defenders back by then. They're due back the end of January.
11 points against you in that game you got.
Why are you... I wanted you back, so we didn't have this
But you loved Delap. I'm just giving you...
I do
just giving
love
you a
Delap.
chance to,
But I think if I was going for a cheap defender right now, which I might be, to be fair, I'd go for Raul Jimenez. Just saying.
Yeah.
I like Raul. Fixtures.
He's all right. Don't mind him. I think I'd go Delap.
I don't hate that at all. I mean,
So
I love
cheapy.
Liam Delap, as you know. Love him. João Pedro, Raul Jimenez, Liam Delap. They're all good.
Yeah.
For a cheap third.
James C. Is Sells the best keeper to hold?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard to argue, isn't it? I nearly had him on my Gameweek 6 week wildcard, and then I saw that bloody training photo of Raya, and I was like, I'll go back to Raya. I mean, the points now between them is massive.
And the point, what is it, 4.9, 0.7?
Well, it was 4.5. I would have had him at 4.5, so it's $1 million.
Oh, wow, it's $1 million.
I had a Kepa Sells rotation lined up, which would have actually been perfect because Kepa ended up not playing and Sells just absolutely smashed it. So,
if I was wildcarding right now, and if I stopped having people breaking my bones in their feet and getting red cards and all that nonsense that keeps happening in my team at the moment, then I would actually like to go Raya to Sells. That I would like that, but I have too many issues and I can't wildcard yet. So,
one thing I was right about, Sam.
What?
Which is a rare for me this season.
Here
but
we
one thing I
go.
was right. Jota. Now, do you remember when we were talking about Jota and everyone was going, I'm going to buy Jota? And I said, don't buy Jota ahead of this run. That's a terrible time to buy him. Wait until after the new year or whatever so we know a bit more about him. Well, it looks like Vellin bought him. Would you do Jota to Ahmad and bench Rodgers? Or just roll and play Morgan versus Everton away? Would you sell Jota now? You've held him for the games he was definitely not going to play. He's probably going to get more minutes now.
It's hard because he started last night against Spurs in the League Cup. So I didn't go for Jota in the end. I went for Diaz, which has been equally annoying in a different way. I think he probably starts. Do you think he probably starts again in the League Cup to give him minutes in the leg?
I assume so. Yeah.
Diaz has had a fairly good rest, so I don't know. I think the issue I have with Jota is that Cody Gakpo has been really, really good, really good, and doesn't deserve to be benched. But then I look at the fixtures for Liverpool and I'm like, it's Nottingham Forest, which on the ticker is like a nice shade of blue, but really that's not a nice shade of blue, is it? That's horrendous the way that Nottingham Forest are playing. After that, it's Brentford away, which, Brentford at the G-Tech are peak Barcelona, and then when they go away from home they're peak Everton or something. So that's difficult. Palace, and then after that for Liverpool it's Ipswich, Bournemouth, Wolves. So really I think it's this midweek, isn't it? After this midweek I actually think that you want to be invested, and let's bear in mind that at some point there's a double game week slotting in. So I struggle to sell Jota now. That's my issue.
I think he's an annoying one though, because he's the kind of player you're going to get stuck with. You're never going to want to sell him. You're always going to think he's going to start. You could bench him in the next game against Forest, and then that's the game he does get a start. And then if he starts, then you're going to want him. I don't know.
I just think when you look at those fixtures that are on the horizon, because all right, Brentford are going to score goals at home, but they also concede a lot of goals. So after Forest, who are going to be difficult, Brentford, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Wolves, Man City, Newcastle, Southampton. There is goals in those games. There is goals for Liverpool. The question is, how many starts does Jota get? How many starts does Gakpo get? We're going to have to Champions League kicking back off in that period as well. Obviously, assuming that they progress in the FA Cup, that's involved there. There's obviously the second leg of the League Cup that's coming in before game week 25. They obviously now need to win that. There's a lot of fixtures, and there's going to be rotation around that front three, apart from Salah. So you will have some frustrations if you keep Jota, but I just think the fixtures are there to keep him.
I think the two things I don't really like about that are, one, Ahmad. I've got Ahmad, he's fine, but it is a transfer, and I'm not... Obviously, you'd rather have Ahmad this week than Jota, but then you're benching Rodgers. I think Rodgers is a good option this week with Dyche.
With Dyche gone, yeah.
I know. So would I do that this week? Probably not. Would I sell Jota for a Gordon or an Mbumo? Probably. I think they're going to comfortably outscore him given the minutes. But if it's not one of those two, I think I'd probably just keep him.
I think I'd hold now. I think you've almost held for too long. You've held beyond the point where he's
yeah, I know.
Coming back. By the time the FA Cup game, at the weekend is played, arguably he's back to fitness. Yeah. So then
just give him the chance, because Diaz hasn't been smashing it lately, has he? He obviously, a lot of people invested in him. He got called off at 59 minutes against Man U. I think Jota will potentially get minutes. Gakpo's just been absolutely incredible. So
yeah, so good.
It's Darwin, Diaz, and Jota probably fighting it out for that other place. Yeah, we'll see. Sushan, Isak over Salah for captaincy.
Okay, I'm going to do this. I think. Am I mad?
How many times are you going to ask me if you're mad? My captain's on Isak at the moment.
Yeah, mine is too. And that is Forest and the Forest defence that's putting me off Salah. Salah, Spurs proved last night that if you can do a defensive job on Salah. Jed Spence's job last night was to deal with Salah. That was what he was clearly told to do, and he did it well. And you can, if you cut off those balls, you can keep him quiet. He had a couple of moments where he got through, and I was like, "Oh my God, please!" And my head was in my hands. And our defense is like a makeshift defense, right? just a makeshift nonsense. Whereas the Forest defence is not. The Forest defence is actually elite right now. So how many goals do we realistically think that Salah can score against Forest? In comparison to how many goals do we realistically think that Isak can put past Wolves?
Well, this is it. And you look at, I mean, we're doing not great, let's be honest. We're about 1 million. We don't want to be in the million. We want to be 100k, like everyone listening to this probably does. How many times are we going to be able to go against Salah, realistically, between now and the end of the season? After this, he's got Brentford, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Wolves, Man City.
Yeah.
That's Salah captain every week. So you've kind of got to find the timings to go against him, I think. And surely, I mean, mate, he's Mo Salah. He'd go to Forest. He could score a hat-trick, you know. But I think it's more, I'd be more surprised at that than if it was a low-scoring game, the way Forest have been playing.
I agree. The one thing I would say is that in loads of pop-ups. In a negative for doing this is that when you look back at the results that Forest have had over the last few weeks, like, I mean, obviously the last 7 or the last 6 in particular have been brilliant. They lost 3-0 to Man City. They lost 3-0 to Arsenal. They lost 3-0 to Newcastle. Those are teams that play in a similar way to Liverpool. That's the only caveat that I would put on it, is that these are teams that will play their own football and won't compromise their football. But I'm still going to captain Isak because I just think the potential upside is greater. Yeah. And as you said, there is an opportunity here where Salah could get 1 goal, Isak could get 3. So, and he's in such great form. He's playing so well. Like, even in the League Cup against Arsenal, like, he was peak again.
I mean, what will happen is Isak got injured after 15 minutes and Salah scored a brace.
Stop it.
But you've got to try. You've got to try.
I think you have to, with captaincy this year, you have to pick your moments to be different. Most weeks, you just have to go with Salah, and that's just how it is. But there are moments, there are weeks where you can go with somebody else and it has potential. Yeah. Like the other week it was Palmer. This week, I think it's Isak.
Yeah. Nope, I agree with that. Good one from Sokan. Sam needs to buy Am I Mad? Very clever. You've been saying
I've said Am I Mad a lot. Yeah, Am I Mad?
Phenol says Isak captain Palmer Vice. That's what mine's on at the moment.
Yeah, that's where I am too.
Liverpool attack is just rotation. Gakpo was getting subbed off just before he got his goal against Man United. Since Pajita, and then someone asked if they should be selling Diaz for a hit. Costas is thinking of selling Diaz to Eze. I'm not sure if that's for a hit or not, but I saw someone else talking about selling. Would you take a hit to go Gordon from Diaz? So would you sell Diaz? You've got Diaz.
I'm not selling Diaz. He doesn't start last night in the cup. He comes off just before 60 minutes in the game at the weekend. I was really annoyed. 4 seconds, Lewis. Walk slower.
That was bad.
Fall over, tie a shoelace up. Just 4 seconds. That's all I need you to do. Anyway. And then obviously he doesn't play in the League Cup. Well, comes on in the League Cup. I think when Slot made those changes on like whatever minute it was, 70 minutes or something last night, Liverpool looked so much better. Like, so much better. And I'm not saying they were playing badly before because they really weren't. But when he makes those changes, they're a lot better. And I think surely Jota, like I when I think about who's going to start against in the league, in the FA Cup against Accrington Stanley, surely it's Jota in the rehab continuation. Surely Darwin Núñez gets a start in that game. So for me, that would mean that Diaz is getting a further rest. So going into the midweek against Forest, Diaz gets the start. Surely. Yeah. So I don't think you can sell him.
It's a pain. I'm very glad I don't have Diaz. I was surprised that so many people were going there, and with Jota as well. So I don't know. I think it's a tricky one.
I'm holding.
Would I do it for free? Would I do Diaz to Gordon for free? Yes. Would I do Diaz to Gordon for a hit? Probably not.
Well, mine would have to be for a hit because I've got to deal with Evan Nilsson. So I'm definitely not doing it for a hit.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's it for us then for this week. Good to be back. Sam, thank you for carrying the stream. I don't think my energy level's quite been what it was maybe before Christmas, but I'm easing myself back into it. It's fine.
You've been great. I've been mad. That's about how the stream's gone. And Tom has been getting some grief for being too Chelsea. So
that's what we want.
That's all you need. Like, Lee's not here, so I've not been bashed. And there's been no Spurs bashing. Nobody's had a fight or an argument. There's been no domestics. It's been lovely.
I think we can put it down.
I think we can tick it off as a tick.
Yeah. James C says it wasn't very
stream.
long. It's been 40 minutes. 45 minutes. That's what we always do. You can't give it too much. You got to keep the people coming back for the next one.
We do 45 minutes every Thursday, and then that gives us ample opportunity to answer everybody's questions, and also to not have me upset too much by any Spurs negativity that may come.
Exactly.
Az has done a great job. So the other thing I like about doing the stream with you is that you use a different system to Tom. So I don't see, all I see is the chat that you've put up. So I can just concentrate on that one question. When I'm doing it with Tom, we use a different system, and that means I have to watch the stream at the same time as doing the stream, so I can see the question.
Oh yeah,
you see now
we've got a good. The system is good, I think.
Yeah, but that also then means that I see the Spurs bashing that goes on in the chat when I'm with Tom as well, when we're talking about Spurs, and I'm just there like.
I'd like to keep it simple for you, Sam. Just one comment on the screen, one time.
And I like that because I can concentrate on that then. And when what inevitably happens is like the Sean Dyche incident today, when there's breaking news or we go off on a tangent, is I actually can't then remember what the question is you asked me in the first place. So when it's on the screen, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And particularly like if somebody says, oh, I've got all these players, what should I do with my team? And then I don't have to remember all of those players. Like, that's good for me.
Yeah, no, well said. Excellent stuff. Right, we will be back next week. Thank you everyone for watching. We had about 500 people watching live, I think, which is good.
It's because you're back, you see.
There you go.
Everyone heard you're back and they're like, yes.
What's going to go wrong on this one? Got to be there for it. Fair enough. Thanks everyone. We will see you all next week.
Bye guys.